Why do men wait until everything is falling apart before they finally talk about it?
You're now listening to the Student of Life podcast.
Hi, y'all. This week we have another all star lineup. I feel like, wait, I think I said this before, the same line before, but I think I need to start paying you guys. I said that before, and I truly mean it. I truly mean it. I am so happy to have myself here. Yes, my name is Trey with Student of Life. We have
Timothy.
Timothy. From now on, we're going to start
Timothy.
calling you Timothy.
It's
Timothy.
Timothy. I'm present, by the way.
Timothy.
Good to go.
Present.
Johnny V. We got Johnny V in the house. Johnny V, the one and only. Johnny, welcome once again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here. Great to see everybody across the stream. Even though I can't see you guys.
Well, hey, they're felt in your heart, right? We can all feel them. We can feel. Thank you all for being here. The listeners, the viewers, thank you all for being here as well too. Now, even though I said I'm going to start paying them more, and I'm talking about Tim Mothy and Johnny V. Sorry, listeners, viewers, I'm not paying you anymore, but we are very, very thankful that you're here. So today is actually going to be kind of a heavy topic, and some of our topics recently from the very beginning actually have been kind of heavy. And we're going to be talking about men's mental health. But this is going to be from our perspective because none of us sitting here today, none of us are mental health professionals. We cannot give mental health advice. We're not doctors. We're not licensed. These are our perspectives from our lived experiences. So anything that we say here, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, please seek out professional mental health. And if you're kind of going through some things currently and in the immediate sense and need to reach out to somebody, there is always 988. That's free of charge. Dial 988, press option 1, and talk to somebody in that immediate time if you need it for your mental health things that are going on. Let's just say that. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some things because all three of us, have some lived experience. Talking to you, Timothy, talking to you, Johnny V. We have real world military experience. Everybody on this panel right here has served in the military. So we're going to talk about things like military culture. We're going to talk about things that the military kind of instilled in us. And we're just going to talk about just our perspectives. And you know what? I've done a lot of talking to this point. So I'm going to leave it to you, Tim. Do you have anything to really talk about in the setup aspect on just the tip?
Yeah. So aside from military, also as a first responder, both like in law enforcement and EMS. So, I've been able to experience the wide range of everything that kind of plays in part of not only mental health, but also your physical well-being as well. So yeah, this is a topic that's near and dear to me and that I feel very strongly about. So I'm looking forward to talking about this and hoping that, something that we say resonates with someone and it may make a positive impact for them.
Yeah, very well said. And Johnny, and thank you very much, Tim. And I don't want to gloss over that. So not only have you served in the military, but you also serve the public in the sense of, law enforcement and such. So my hats off to you, to all the first responders out there. Please continue to stay safe. And yes, even, and I think that's really a subset that we don't talk about much, which is, our public servants out there, outside of the military, but public servants who do not really, they see a lot of stuff. Let's just say that. But there's not a lot of attention that gets put onto the mental health for fire rescue and police. So and I know we're going to talk about this a lot more when we get into the full package. But I do want to say, Tim, thank you very much for your service on both sides. Johnny, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually, to the viewers out there that are listening. Now, I hate the word, and I really do hate the word triggering, but to use it in this context right now, just remember every topic that we do talk about, even if it's this what we're talking about today, if it brings back bad memories or anything like that, again, we apologize, but we're only here to try and help somebody that might not want to reach out, but that has gone through similar things. And we're trying to help them see the good after the bad. We're trying to help them with any type of word of encouragement. Anything we do, we're not doing it to harm or hurt anybody, or especially our viewers. If you know somebody that's going through something similar, please share this with them. So that way, sometimes they got to hear it from somebody else in order to really understand it. So we appreciate you guys watching us. But if it does resonate in some way, shape, or form, make sure you guys help better.
Yeah, I mean, typically there's a saying, if you see something, say something, right? And typically that's put in terms of nefarious means, somebody breaking the law or causing harm to someone. But, this community, and when I say community, I'm talking about the human race as a whole. We have to pay more attention to one another. And if we know that someone, and we can see the signs that somebody might be struggling with something, right? See something, say something. Ask, are you okay? And maybe they don't want to talk about it. I do want to say in the military that's one of those gray areas, right? We're in the military to get the job done. We're taught to push through, and it's all about the mission. Mission first. Mission first. Mission first. So there's a lot of things that happen in the military and just that culture where sometimes you just learn to just stuff it down, stuff it inside, and just push through. You know, if you go and seek mental help because you can't, get through something yourself, unfortunately, in the military, it's kind of looked down upon. Even if it's not verbally said, well, this person's just trying to skate out of something or get out of something. Or whatever it may be. And once again, this is my own perspective. This is my own perspective, and I've served in two different branches. So not just one side, the Navy side. I've also have the Air Force side as well too, and that's just something that I've noticed from those two branches. It's not, you can't go to the mental health. No, it's not that. Nothing direct like that. Oh no, you can't go. But hey, what are you supposed to be doing right now? And maybe that's just, people just not knowing or understanding. Let me ask you, Tim and Johnny, when it comes down to mental health in the military, what was there anything that really jumped out at you or that you felt or saw yourselves?
I think a lot of it stemmed from the career field, whatever your AFSC or your MOS or, your background was in the military. I think there were some that primarily kind of they almost had a stance of, mental health takes a side, or a back seat, like you said earlier, the mission comes first. So, unless you have, a broken limb or, something serious in a more physical sense, there were, times where people, we can get into this later, where, there were signs, but they didn't want to speak up and they didn't want to say anything and they don't want to go get the help. And, it got to the point where it was unfortunately too late. But I think, people joke in the military of, oh, you had an office job or, you did finance or you were a paper pusher or you weren't actually in the real military. And I think that's demeaning, to those that served in general, no matter what your field is, because, let's be honest, especially with recent events, there's probably people that were in these locations thinking, I'm going to go over for, 6, 7 months and it's going to be, a simple, and I hate using that word, but deployment. And look what transpired, across the Gulf area. So, there were people that were working finance or HR or whatever there, and they had to deal with all of these real world events that are going to leave long term, scars on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very sad, when you really think about it, because, and like you said, we're going to talk about this deeper in the full package. So I don't want to give away too much, but there are some similar type situations that I've seen, witnessed, and went through that I can attest. Everything you said right now, Tim, yes, 100% accurate. And not everybody's experience is exactly the same. So, Johnny, do you have any thoughts on any of this?
Yeah, it's so you and I, or Trey and I, got to basically be a part of the military in a similar way. We're both corpsmen, and both attached to Marine Corps units. Now, it's a blessing in disguise, of course, but sometimes what people don't see. So for us, everyone always just thought that, oh, you're just a medical pencil pusher. Yeah, at points and times we are. But one of the things that I know when I went through training, and I was blessed enough to have the instructors that I did have. A lot of them kept pushing, hey, you're not just there for of their physical health. They're going to come to you because you're a core. You are seen as that caretaker role. So be prepared when it does come to that. And again, I'll touch on that a little bit later, but I know there was a lot of people out there too that burden does get put on them and it weighs on them. So it's more than people think, anyways.
Yeah. And once again, if you're currently going through something mentally, I'm going to always push this resource because it's a free resource, and people, I believe everyone should know about this. And it's 988 talk to someone. If you're currently going through anything, if you're being triggered just from this episode itself, or if you're dealing with, financial things that are really weighing you down mentally, um, Dial 988. Do not let your pride get the best of you. We're all in this together. But so moving on a little bit from that, when we're talking about just the mental health in the military, do you guys ever feel like the pressure to just figure it out versus asking for help? And I want you guys to really think about that. Like, have you ever had that pressure just to figure it out versus asking for help?
I'm
Oh yeah,
sure
being
every
oh, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sure every man has been at that point before, and that's actually one of the more difficult bridges to cross as a man is, can I tough this out a little bit longer, or do I need to ask for help? And I'm sure every man has gone through that before. What were you saying, Tim?
Yeah, so I think one of the big things too, and I kind of want to revert back to the whole resource of 988, and this topic as a whole, it's not just about first responders and military. It's mental health as a whole across the board, you know, because, let's be honest, there are things that happen across the country and across the globe on a, daily basis that impacts people. You think about all of these incidents of, mass shootings or, these chaotic instances where people are being exposed to this trauma. So it affects, it can affect everybody. So I personally, I want to say that we're not trying to only focus on veterans and first responders and people in those communities. This is a topic that can literally impact anybody, anywhere, anytime. So I think there's a very big stigma of, men across the board don't want to take the initiative to ask for help or to go seek help, because it's that, you're a man, tough it up, you can figure it out on your own, and I know we talked about, mental toughness earlier on in our series, but you can only do things yourself for so long before, you get overwhelmed and overburdened and you need to reach out, you need to ask for help, and that's not a sign of weakness, whatsoever.
Never is it a sign of weakness. And I'm glad you're really focused in on the fact that we're not just talking to veterans and we're not just talking about active duty military or first responders. We're talking about, our perspective as men and what we're seeing in the community of men. And personally, I feel that most men, like, I don't believe that most men, or how should I'm trying to find the words that I really wanna say here because I personally believe that as a man, we long and we really strive for that community. I personally believe this wholeheartedly, and I don't think that most men just need therapy, Therapeutic means, and once again, I said this earlier, I am not a mental health professional. This is my personal opinion. But I do personally believe that therapeutic means can come in any shape or form, like what we're doing right here. The cigar community can be a form of therapy for some. You know, some people do need to go and sit in a communal space and have those personal relationships, and they can literally get that therapeutic needs from just the relationships that they have. But once again, I am not a mental health professional. I am not a doctor. If you feel like you do need professional therapy or help, please seek it out. And if you're mentally struggling with something in the moment, dial that 988 that I had mentioned as well too. And they do have licensed clinicians on staff that can assist. So, final takeaways. Do you have anything else that you want to say, Johnny or Tim, before we go ahead and cross on over to the other side of the full package?
No, you hit the nail on the
Tim?
head with that. So, this is something that's a very especially with it being June, and I don't want to take away from any of the other, celebratory things this month, but men's mental health especially is a very under talked about topic. So, this is like I said, something I'm passionate about. So I'm glad that we're going with this.
And Johnny, did you have any final words that you want to say?
I'm saying, final takeaway. Whether you subscribe to our full package or not, make sure that you surround yourself with the men that you see that you want to become as well. Because some of those men, they struggle, but some of those men you'll be able to see as well. They know how to talk things out. And it's always great to surround yourself with a community that's going to be able to help you become better, especially if they're men that you could tell that they are allowing you to not just vent, but give you stories or anything to keep you away from hurting yourself. And when I say that, I don't mean just physically hurting yourself, I mean financially hurting yourself or even emotionally hurting yourself. Surround yourself as men for men's mental health. Surround yourself with men that you trust that can lead you to a good path.
Yes. And as we continue this discussion, because we're going to cross over to the full package, we're going to go deeper into our own lived experiences and perspectives. And if you hear anything that's resonating with you, go ahead and share that, with other people because it may resonate with them as well too. But if you just want to go ahead and leave a comment, feel free to do that. Go ahead and hit those like, subscribe, and share buttons. But once again, most importantly, let's continue to learn, grow, and live together. And we hope to see you on the other side.